So it's Christmas Eve, and again, this is unscripted, but it is my journey back to wellness. And I'm just getting back from church. Long, full day. Started with some gardening, a lot of gardening, and some resting, and really trying to work through some stuff around here. It's not easy when traditions change. Holidays are sacred because they embody so many historical, significant moments, or all the human emotions that have come to mean something. Like our Christmas trees, which I learned recently in life that Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Christmas. They're very Christian, but because it's not in the Bible, they don't celebrate it. And there's a lot of things that traditionally we just accept because it's the way it's always been done. I love my Christmas trees. Truth be told, we now are environmentally friendly, and these are not real trees. But I did grow up with real trees, and perhaps my favorite tree memory was when I was little. I was maybe 8 or 9, because it's around the time my parents took us skiing the top of a mountain. We stayed in this little house and we got snowed in, but it was Christmas Eve, and I was so concerned Santa wasn't going to find us. And my mom and dad made Christmas so special. We painted ornaments by candlelight because we also lost power in a big snowstorm. And we had a tree because my dad went out and chopped down a tree. And I also was so concerned Santa wasn't going to come, because one of the ornaments I painted, I remember it like yesterday, a white candle with a black wick, and the black ran into my white paint, and I was so sad. I think I get that perfectionism from my mom. It wasn't perfect, and therefore I was bad, and Santa doesn't deliver gifts to bad children. Again, the things we learn sometimes stick with us, but Santa found us, and I got presents even though my painting wasn't perfect. The homily tonight was, Father Bob was sharing some of his favorite Christmas movies, Christmas memories, and he loved Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown was always depressed and was put in charge of the Christmas pageant. And he got everything wrong, even the tree. He got this sad-looking tree, but Charlie Brown was sad partly because he thought materialism had taken over and the meaning of Christmas was lost. We're living in complicated times. I consider myself blessed, and I'm thankful I have a roof over my head and food, and on social media, I'm sure life looks far more interesting than it feels sometimes, than it is sometimes. But I also weep, my heart breaks for my mom who can't be with me for Christmas, or any family. She's stuck alone. And then there's so many other people, war-torn countries. Whether you believe in Christmas or not, I believe in the goodness that God is love, and I do believe He sent His Son into this world to bring us peace, and all of the traditions, the religious traditions, weigh more heavily on me as an adult, because I do believe Jesus was a real person. I believe He was born Jewish, and I believe He was tortured by a broken justice system, power structure that becomes more palpable the older I get. And the Jesus story is real. I don't think it's a myth. And so my heart goes out to everybody who is suffering injustice. 2025 has been a very hard year, watching so many wars going on around the world, and even within my country, there are wars going on. The war, people say, between good and evil. So much misinformation, and therefore misperception, and the internet visual culture is making it harder for people to discern truth. And again, that creates so much conflict. So I'm trying to remain optimistic and real, not to trivialize anybody's suffering, my own included, trying to convey the reality that my faith teaches me, Happiness comes from happenings, but true joy is a gift that we can receive even in the midst of the most unhappy of circumstances. And while I don't want our world, I don't want the sacred to be lost or become profane or overtaken by the materialism that Charlie Brown was also sad about. I do know sometimes things are not just things. When things are made with love or purchased with money that you work hard to earn so that you can get something special, whether it's to sustain your life or someone else's life, or just something that you know will bring them joy, that is sacred. Or something that is able to evoke just a happy memory. Sometimes that's all we have left. John Irvin loved to say, life is but the memories. And tonight, that's all I've got. But tomorrow is Christmas. And into this world, a Savior was born. And with tomorrow comes a whole day full of potential, and miracles can happen every day if we let them. So I'm looking forward to miracles tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Ooh, comfy. We got popcorn for you.
We're glad you joined us for this special edition of Front and Center.
So it's really early in the morning or very, very late Christmas night, depending on how you want to look at it. But again, I went to bed Christmas Eve after posting or making the video. I didn't post yet. And then woke up early Christmas Day, grateful, wishing Merry Christmas to many and many wishing Merry Christmas to me. And I did get to go see the movie Song Sung Blue with someone I met recently at Urban Meditation, where I love, and they did inspire my journey back to wellness. Excuse me. They helped me set up my YouTube channel to document journey back to wellness, etc. Ran into them walking to the beach yesterday, where I was finally taking a break from my work before church, and we exchanged numbers and decided maybe we'll see a movie today, and we did. And the reason I am considering it part of a miracle that I was hoping for, I planned on going thinking it was going to be a lighthearted, fun, great soundtrack movie, which it is. but bring your box of tissues if you go see it. I was unprepared for how sad it was. But to me, it also put into perspective partly why I'm on this journey back to wellness myself. In a visual, I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but it is based on a true story. So if you take your time to Google, you know the story. But that's basically what I have been living for the last 15 years. My mom didn't have her leg amputated, but she did break her femur 3 times. And my dad wasn't Hugh Jackman, but he did have repeated medical emergencies, needing to have me drive him to the hospital or call an ambulance to get him quickly to the hospital. I even bought a portable defibrillator like they show in the movie. And I took CPR classes, went through the training, begged my dad never to make me have to use them. But again, helping my parents and John was not the hardest part of the journey. What made it so hard were these external forces that were undermining my ability, my mom's ability, even my dad's ability to heal properly, follow doctor's orders. Someone specifically in Massachusetts phoned my dad's doctor without his permission or authorization, and the doctor even told this person they had to stop calling because HIPAA prevented them from speaking about anything related to my dad. And that person called so many times. His name was Dr. Santos. Dr. Santos told my dad in the meeting, I drove my dad to, my mom was there, and the phone wouldn't stop ringing. And he finally stood up and said, I'm sorry. I have great confidence this procedure would have gone well, but I'm concerned I'm going to keep getting these phone calls that he had asked repeatedly to stop coming from the people in Massachusetts. And he didn't feel comfortable doing the procedure anymore. And I did have to bring my portable defibrillator because they sent a private plane to take my dad to Massachusetts, where they were trying to pressure him to go. But my dad had already spoken with the surgical team at Mass General, and they reviewed his charts, and they agreed there was no special circumstance needing for him to have to go to Massachusetts Mass General. They encouraged him, in fact, to have it done locally. It was safer. He was closer to his primary care physician, closer to home, no need to fly. But if my father had chosen to fly, they said there was a direct flight through JetBlue. They could arrange. It would be a medical transport. My dad would have clearance. People would be on the plane if he needed, medical people, not me who took CPR training, but actual medical people. And they would time it so that the plane would land, my dad would get off, an ambulance would be waiting for him at the airport and take him directly to Mass General. My dad opted not to do that so that Dr. Santos could perform the surgery, or like a procedure. And that got interrupted. They even tried to sell the house without any legal authorization to do so. In 2020, my mom and I were in pandemic lockdown, mask-wearing people, wiping groceries. People in Massachusetts tried to sell our house, called realtors, had realtors coming to our door. Again, I digress. It's a great movie, but to me, coincidental timing. I was hoping for miracles, and I got to see life is complicated. Doesn't have to be so complicated sometimes, but sometimes horrible things happen to people, and you're really lucky if you have insurance. You're really lucky if you have access to medical professionals, hospitals close by who can save your life, who can save your leg, who can do a lot of things that, again, we've been very blessed here that we do have, Dad would say, #1 EMS people in the country, and Dad was a proud volunteer at our local hospital for 8 years before he himself ended up needing so much medical care. So 2 characters in the movie for Song Sung Blue went through things that, in different levels, my parents both were going through. Heart conditions and leg trauma, needing, wheelchairs, recovery, physical therapy, learning to walk with walkers, etc. The only part that was very different from the movie is the people going through the trauma in the movie did not have external forces trying to make them homeless, shut them down, sell their house out from under them in a pandemic lockdown. It's sad. And it's also why my mom is currently stuck, not able to be here. And I'm just trying to stay healthy myself, get healthier myself, get my strength back physically, emotionally. I have to stay strong so that I can continue being a good person, but lawyers are expensive. Billable hours that I have been having to pay since 2018 at my mom's request. 1 attorney. 2019, another attorney in Massachusetts. 2020, Mom broke her leg for the 3rd time. People were destroying our property, trying to get us to move and sell our entire property instead of fixing damages. More attorneys. I'm tired, but I'm healing, and I'm sharing my story, which itself is part of my journey. I've been so embarrassed, as if it's my fault that people have been targeting us, and I keep trying to defend us, and it's shocking. I don't know why people have to be so cruel, greedy, I guess it is, corrupt. There's so many words to put on it, but ultimately it was hard to wrap my head around, and because I was mostly focused on just trying to keep Dad alive, keep Mom alive, keep me alive. People were threatening me. It's been a lot, but I'm hoping life continues for as long as it can, and may God continue to reveal the truth I need to see so that I can continue making the best decisions and hopefully inspire other people to realize they might be being taken advantage of. They might be targeted. They might need to also find ways to get these types of people to stop. Merry Christmas.